So I did a thing here, and you're probably gonna hate it. But anyway, Sean here in the Gentry homestead, and I've got this really nice chipper here. We bought this last year, and it worked great until it stopped working. It's an earthquake chipper shredder, and based on the model number, it's about a $900 chipper. And we got it from a guy that sold it to us on Marketplace for $200 last year. He said he'd used it a couple times, which I believe him because it looked brand new. And he noted that the gas tank vibrated a little bit, but was certain that it was just a missing bolt and everything was going to be okay. As it turns out, it wasn't just a missing bolt, which I found out pretty quickly after starting to use it. We can see here that the mount that goes somewhere in this area right here, I think right in that spot there, the metal actually broke off. It broke away. So the only thing that was holding this gas tank in place were these two points right here with the rubber gaskets or washers in between. But I'll tell you what, when this thing was running, and I can't flip it because it's still got gas in it, so I don't want to flip it, but I tell you what, this thing would just do this, right? So I ended up replacing the fuel line because it started leaking, and then it started leaking again because of the vibration. The vibration was literally vibrating this away to the point where the fuel line just cut itself again. So this happened right at the end of the season last year, and I thought, I'll worry about it later. It's not critical. I do have piles everywhere that I need to take care of. There's a good sized pile right there. There's piles everywhere, and we have trees that we still have to cut up. So this thing is extremely handy, and it is gas powered. Obviously, it's a 212cc gas powered Viper engine, whatever, it doesn't matter, it's all marketing gimmick. But there apparently are some weaknesses with these things. Now I am going to be taking this cover off, and I'm going to be looking at the cutter, what do you call those things, the teeth that actually cut, because it does vibrate quite a bit. And at first I thought it was just normal for these things, but a friend of mine says that possibly there might be one that maybe is busted off, or something else is going on in there and it's causing it to be imbalanced because it shouldn't be vibrating too much. So with that in mind, I am going to be taking this cover off and I'm going to be inspecting it, but I wanted to get started on this, at least mounting the tank. So this tank, I believe, is a 1 liter tank, I believe, or around there, about a 1 liter tank. This here is about twice the size. This is a 2 liter, it's a 2.2 liter tank. I got this on Amazon for pretty cheap. It was like $20. And then I got some fuel line, and I mounted this directly to the actual intake bin. It's a good safe spot for it. It's not like it's gonna get anywhere near the cutting blades. So it's up here, it's out of the way. It's easy to get access to the filler cap, like so. I probably should have brought it down just a tad more, but it's fine. It works great. It's vented, and that's of course our turkeys, but it's vented, and I've just got a standard 1/4 inch hose running down to the feed line, and that's it. And before you say, oh, that's too close to that muffler, that's too close to that head right there, oh no, it's gonna burn up. Believe me when I say they had this fuel line so close, it quite literally wrapped down the side of the cylinder wall right down here. It came right down here and fed itself through here. So it was pretty much, even in stock form, this fuel line was touching this here. So the fact that I've got it around here like this, there's no way this is going to be hot enough, or this be hot enough to cause any problems. I'm not anticipating any issues whatsoever, but at any rate, So now I've over doubled my fuel capacity. These things don't run very long, roughly maybe about 30 minutes. When you're chipping some good sized branches or twigs or whatever, it runs about 30, maybe 35 minutes on a tank. And so it was getting actually pretty annoying, as a matter of fact, to get a good rhythm going, and then you got to stop and fill it up because it dies, and you don't know how much gas is in it until you actually open it up and you look and you see whether or not there's any gas in there. With this tank here, I'll be able to see where the fuel line is because you can see right through the tank. So I'll be able to see how much fuel I've got in here, and it should last a good hour of continuous run. And I don't like engines that run out of fuel. I just don't like that. So it'd be nice if it gets low, I can just stop it, refill it real quick, and then continue on. So I'll be able to actually see that. But another thing, and again, I don't know if it's this model, the circumstances of the previous owner, or anything else like that, but you can see how this thing vibrated itself off. And again, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to figure out if maybe there's an imbalance in there, or maybe one of the cutting blades fell off and it's creating too much. But it ended up just quite literally breaking this off, and it was still attached to the head right here. It was still attached here, and I pulled this off because what was going on is this thing was vibrating back and forth violently while this was running. And it became so annoying that I ended up just taking it off, and then I found out why it was vibrating so bad, because it wasn't even being held anymore by this. I don't know if it's just bad welds. I don't know if it's bad material. It's too thin. I don't know. I did have the muffler off last year, and I was running it. Yes, it's loud, but I had my earbuds in, so I didn't really care. Yeah, of course it's going to be loud. I would like to put a muffler back on. Can probably weld this up to this spot and then just mount it, but it's not critical right now. It's not bothering me. We're way out in the country, so there's nobody that's going to complain. We got loud machinery that's all over the place. It's a lot louder than this, so I'm not really too concerned about noise. I'm not going to be out here at 2 in the morning doing it or anything, but noise is really not too much of a concern for me. It really isn't. You should hear some of the equipment that drives by here. So I'm going to give it an oil change before I go at it again. Again, I'm going to be taking this off, this cover off, so that I can see how the blades are doing, if there's an imbalance in there. As far as I understand, it's just these on the outer side that come off on the very outer side, and then this whole thing comes back. I think this is a access port so that you can get stuff unstuck, I'm pretty sure. I don't know much about this thing, I really don't, but I think this is a quick access port so that you can pull this off and then dig out anything that might be jammed in there. I've never had anything jam up, but I don't stick anything in here that we're going to burn to heat the house. I only put the stuff in that's too small to burn and then get rid of it. I would like to have one of those collectors. They're actually kind of pricey. I would like to have one of those collectors so that I could collect all the wood chips, but again, they're kind of pricey. So I don't know. And I tried putting this in our quad trailer and so on, and it violently just blows the stuff everywhere. There's no way to collect it without some kind of a bag that can allow air to flow out and all the chunks stay in. So it'll just blow all the chunks everywhere. It moves pretty quick. So I do like it. Other than that, it's just these little issues. And again, I don't know if it's, the previous owners just wasn't telling me something about this, and, this vibrated loose. I don't know if there's a problem inside. But at least I've got my fuel situation taken care of, because I really didn't want to have to go out and buy a new tank. These things are not cheap. The whole tank, to get parts for this, the tank was very expensive. I didn't want to have to do that. I didn't really like how close it was, especially this fuel line, how close it was to the head or to the cylinder walls. Just one of those things. And I doubled my capacity by mounting an external tank up top there. And the loop goes down. It doesn't straighten out, so it should gravity feed just fine all the way down to the fuel. So yeah, an improvement nonetheless. I don't think it's going to cause any issues. I don't think it's a danger of any kind. This isn't anywhere near the blades. So yeah, you're feeding stuff in there, but it's, you know, it's mounted right here. It's not going to hurt anything. You know, I just don't see it being an issue. But no doubt there'll be somebody who'll say that's a bad idea or something. But you know, so far so good. I'm not too concerned about it. I think it's going to be great. So I've got to get fuel for it. I really need to figure out what I'm going to do about this muffler, if anything at all. I might just leave it. Yep. It's that time of year. I might just leave it and just earbuds, not worried about it, not doing it at 2 in the morning. So if anybody really wants to complain, whatever, but we don't have anybody around here that would complain. It's just, there's so much other stuff that's louder around here. I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, so anyway, all I did was just get this gas tank from Amazon, and then just got 2 feet of fuel line with some clamps, and that was it. That was pretty much it. Another thing about this, because this vibrated violently so bad, it actually broke the, whatever this is called, it broke this off. Something to do with air pressure. I can't remember what it is, but this is a vented gas tank, so I don't think I have to worry about having this attached or anything. It's a vented gas tank. So at any rate, tell me what you think. It's nice to double the capacity, and it's out of the way. I can still grab the handle, I can still carry it around. I'll just have to be a little bit more careful about not getting this hung up on anything. So when I'm pulling it around or whatever, I just have to be extra careful. Not really that big of a deal, but I think this is actually a better setup than this little stock tank. Again, I think it's either 1 liter or a little less than 1 liter, and this is 2.2 liters. So it should hold more, obviously, and should last longer per run. So we'll see. I got a lot of work to do with it. So, all right, well, I'm going to head back inside. It's getting pretty chilly out here, though. We've got some nice 70-degree days ahead of us. Today is definitely a cloudy and chilly day. So, at any rate, thanks again for all your support, as always, and take care.